Hey, welcome to Welly's World. I'm Matt Wellman, and today I have a good friend with me who, among other things, plays for the gypsy jazz group Hot Club Faux Gitane. I'd like to welcome today Billy Gay. How you doing, Billy?
Good, how are you?
So I'm doing great. Now, we've both been teaching all day, and we're really excited to talk to you. Billy here's going to talk to us about what it's like to be a local musician, what it takes, and the kind of fun and shenanigans he gets into. So let's start from the beginning. When did you start playing?
I've actually been playing since I was 4, so that's 10 years now because I'm really young. So I've been playing for just about 30 years. I started on piano, and like when I started on piano, I'm like, this is piano, that's all I want to do, I love it. And then 6th grade came and I had to pick a band instrument, so saxophone, like piano and saxophone, that's it, everything else sucks. And then high school, I finally learned guitar. I'm like, guitar's awesome. Everything else is kind of so-so. No banjo, though. And then it just kept progressing. And now I love banjo.
And now you are the banjo guy.
I'm the banjo guy.
Yeah, here. I've heard that many times. So you said that it's nice. This is everything. Now these 2 are everything. Now these 3 are everything. Playing multiple instruments, though, has really benefited your performance career, though, right?
Yeah, I get opportunities because I can play certain things. Everybody plays guitar, everybody plays bass. Quite a few drummers, and there's many of them willing to actually take their drum set somewhere and play them. But you can't really find a lot of people that can play, say, mandolin, banjo, and guitar, and read sheet music for all those, and do a gig at the same time. I've gotten a lot of gigs because I can do the things that I do. I don't do all of it the most amazing. I'm not the best at everything, but I can do almost everything, and that's my goal. So
yeah, and it works.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So describe your style, your influences.
My influences are all over the place. With the band I play with, Hot Club, my influences are Oscar Aleman and Django, of course, but I like Oscar because he's more joking with it. He has a more lively energy to it. He's not necessarily just going to sit there and shred and melt your face. He wants you to have a good time.
Right.
And I can hear in his music when he's laughing, even if he's not, and I love that. So for that style of music, those are my influences. Otherwise, like, it ranges from like Weird Al to like punk bands, punkish bands like NoFX or Bad Religion,
right.
I really love the Zombies.
The Zombies, awesome.
It's all over the place.
So Weird Al is, I know we talk about Weird Al all the time because it's kind of like a family band. Your whole family, you'd always get the Weird Al records. Is that
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not just bringing this out of nowhere.
No. I grew up like my dad had a big record collection, and the 3 I'd always go to were the 3 Weird Al he had. We had In 3D, Dare to Be Stupid, and what was the other one? I think we had, no, it's just the 2. And I'd always put those with the big headphones that they had back in the 80s, and I'd sit in the chair and just listen to those records.
You mean today, right? Were they
They're
Beats?
back to big
were
now,
they Beats?
huh?
Yeah.
No, they were like Sony.
Yeah. The
Or
Sony, like Aviator headphones.
Realistic, the old school Radio Shack brand. Like, that's
awesome. So how did you meet the guys that you play with?
So I met the guys I play with through playing with another band, which I met through doing some other music stuff. So it was like a very cascading thing. I joined a big band in Modesto called Trade Winds Dance Band because the director of that saw me at, I think it was at Mo Band or something else, playing trombone, and he needed a trombone player. So I joined that group, and the guitar player of the group at the time was playing in the Hot Club, and they were looking for a second guitar player after a while because he was moving. And so then I got into that group because I play guitar in the group I do now because I played trombone for somebody else 2 bands ago. Wow. So, yeah.
So it's musicians knowing musicians, and so there's nothing to say that you're playing with Hot Club now, but in the future someone will see you in Hot Club and give you another opportunity that you're into.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really good to know for anyone who's just starting out, that the more people you know, the more likely you're going to get noticed in being able to do something to fulfill a project that the people you know are interested in getting involved in.
Oh yeah, I've put together gigs where I know there's a capable musician, and I know that some people have issues working with them, so I won't contact them. It all depends on how well you work with someone and how
Definitely.
well you play your instrument. Like those two they coexist.
Yeah. Which of course Billy actually got me a gig this summer. I played for him in the Music Man playing bass. The only reason I got that gig was because I knew Billy.
There you go.
So this is something that's really important whenever you're talking about any kind of music gig. We say it all the time. It's not who you are, it's who you know. And we're saying that it's not if you stink, you're not going to get hired again.
Right, because people will know that too. Like,
Yeah.
everybody will know that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Musicians talk, so everyone will know that. So what's the difference? This is kind of the $10 million question. What's the difference between being a local musician and trying to make it?
So I guess it depends on what your definition of make it is. I think everyone thinks make it is you're on. Wait, no, MTV doesn't have music anymore.
Right. So
When you're on YouTube or Vine, that's you've made it, right? When you're at the iHeartRadio concert, because you're a part of that whole thing, you've made it. But I guess for me is if you're playing the type of stuff that you like playing, people come to hear you, and you make money, and you get to do it regularly, then I think you've made it. Like, you're a musician, people know you as a musician, you get paid to be a musician.
Yeah.
Now, it's the scale, I guess, is what you're asking about. So local means that you're not trying to go on tour across Europe or something. And the big version of made it is that you're on the road constantly. You're never home.
Right.
You never see anybody that you know.
You're David Lee Roth. You're just a gigolo.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I think my goal has always been to be the local band person, because I want to have a family. I want to see my friends, and I want to do that stuff.
So, what about the other thing we talk about when it's like we made it? You know, a lot of times I think about Hollywood. You're playing down on Hollywood Boulevard. You've got some agent who's booking you. You're paying to play in these clubs, praying for some record exec to just notice you so that you can get this huge record deal. You know, has that ever played into your mind?
You know, honestly, when I was in high school, I'm like, I'm going to be on tour. I'm going to be the guy playing guitar and, or actually bass. I was a bass player in high school. I'm going to be the next Les Claypool, and it's going to be awesome. But then, like, pretty early on, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And so trying to reconcile being a performing musician and a teacher is difficult. So, I mean, you have to be in one area for at least 180 days out of the year. So that takes touring off the books, like right there. But I don't know. I feel like you don't have to be out and about. You don't have to be constantly traveling to be a made musician.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense to me. I know that I've played locally, and you have to build your following.
Yeah.
You know, when you're just like if you're trying to make it. Usually, I think when people talk about making it, it's kind of like skipping that we had to build a following, and suddenly you're just internationally famous overnight. You know, and that doesn't really happen. Even if you get a record deal all of a sudden, you know, we think of Beatlemania a lot of times because the Beatles came over from London, and suddenly they were huge. They were on Johnny Carson once, and then all of a sudden they're the best thing since sliced bread. And that's not necessarily what happens. You know, even with the Beatles, they had to build their following before something like that happened. And so I really like how you put it. You know, as a local musician, you're here because, first of all, this is your home. This is where you wanted to be a teacher. So you're playing into your strengths, and I think that's really important for young people to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Also look up who Johnny Carson is.
Carson is. Let's see. So we've already talked a little bit about networking. Networking's super important in any kind of career you want in the music industry. How would you get started?
And so that can be a very daunting task. Like putting your name out there and saying, "Hi, I play music. I'm someone you can consider competent on my instrument, please hire me. Like that's a very nerve-wracking thing to do. If you're not already taking music lessons privately, that might be something to consider, because now you know a teacher, and that teacher probably plays with somebody or works with somebody who plays with somebody, or they book gigs, or they run a record label out of their house or something. Start contacting people, making connections. If you don't take lessons, or you think you don't need lessons, go to a music store and ask, do you guys have a bulletin board for musicians? Or Craigslist will have people looking for musicians, but it's just, don't do it. It's weird. There's weird people on Craigslist.
That goes for everything on Craigslist.
Yeah. Although the exception is we found 2 members of our band through Craigslist.
Oh, really?
They're not the weirdest people, but you have to weed through all of the people looking for shred bassist trying to do alt punk metalcore stuff, and it's weird. But the other thing is, think about what you want to play, what style of music, and then go find those venues. Find the people that are at those venues and talk to them. Like if you saw a band that came off the stage and you really liked them, go talk to them. Say, how did you get started? I'm trying to get into a band. And they may blow you off, but they also may be nice people and tell you some tips, because musicians try and help people out. Most of the people I know that I work with are really supportive, and they're really open to sharing stuff. So.
Yeah. And there's a saying that I've heard quite a few times is, be nice to the people who help you on the way up, because they're going to help you on the way back down.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Now,